It was a quiet Tuesday morning when the world changed forever. The sky above New York, Tokyo, London, and every major city on Earth suddenly filled with massive dark shades. They appeared without warning, their huge forms blocking out the sun and casting long shadows over the stunned people below. At first, many thought it was some kind of strange weather phenomenon. But as news spread quickly through social media and emergency broadcasts, the truth became clear. Aliens had arrived on Earth. In New York, Sarah Chen was walking to work when she noticed people stopping in the street, pointing up at the sky. She looked up and gasped. A giant ship, easily the size of several city blocks, hovered silently above the skyscrapers. Its surface was smooth and dark, with no visible windows or doors. "Oh my God," Sarah whispered, her coffee cup slipping from her hand and spilling onto the sidewalk. All around her, people were taking out their phones, snapping pictures, and making frantic calls. Meanwhile, in a small town in Iowa, farmer John Miller was checking his crops when his wife ran out of the house, yelling and pointing at the sky. John turned and saw a massive object floating above his cornfields. It was so big that it cast a shadow over his entire 200-acre farm. "Mary, get the kids and go to the basement," John said, his voice shaking but firm. He couldn't take his eyes off the alien ship as his family hurried inside. As the hours passed, more reports came in from all over the world. The aliens had arrived everywhere at once. Their ships hung silently in the sky, making no move to attack or communicate. World leaders scrambled to respond. In Washington, D.C., President Thompson called an emergency meeting with her top advisors and military commanders. The room was tense as they discussed their options. "What do we know about their capabilities?" the president asked, her face grave. General Martinez shook his head. "Very little, Madam President. Their technology is far beyond anything we've ever seen. Our weapons might be useless against them." In other countries, similar meetings were taking place. Governments tried to calm their citizens while secretly preparing for the worst. Military bases around the world went on high alert, their weapons trained on the silent ships above. As day turned to night, people everywhere huddled in their homes, glued to their TVs and phones for any updates. The streets of major cities, usually bustling with life, were eerily empty. Only the occasional police car or military vehicle broke the silence. In London, Dr. Emma Watson, a leading expert in astronomy, was called to a secret government facility. She spent hours studying the data collected on the alien ships, trying to make sense of their technology. "It's incredible," she murmured, looking at the readings. "Their ships don't seem to use any propulsion system we understand. It's like they're defying gravity itself." As the first 24 hours passed, a strange calm settled over the world. The aliens made no move to attack. They didn't try to communicate. They simply watched and waited. People began to wonder, why were the aliens here? What did they want? Were they peaceful explorers or did they have more sinister intentions? In Tokyo, young Kenji Tanaka couldn't sleep. He sat by his window, staring up at the huge ship that loomed over his city. "What are you waiting for?" he whispered to the silent visitors. As dawn broke on the second day, humanity held its breath. Would the aliens finally make their move? Or would they continue their silent vigil, watching and waiting for reasons unknown? The world had changed overnight. Humanity faced its greatest challenge and its greatest mystery. The aliens had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again. As the world entered its second day under the watchful eyes of the alien ships, tension continued to build. People everywhere waited anxiously for some kind of action or message from the strange visitors. In the United Nations headquarters in New York, an emergency session was underway. Representatives from every country on Earth gathered to discuss how to approach the aliens. The room buzzed with nervous energy as leaders debated their next move. "We must try to communicate with them," insisted the French ambassador. "If we don't reach out, we may miss a chance for peaceful contact." Others weren't so sure. What if our attempts to communicate are seen as a threat? argued the Russian representative. We could accidentally start a war we can't win. After hours of heated discussion, they finally reached a decision. They would send a message to the aliens, a simple greeting in multiple languages, broadcast on all frequencies. Dr. Amelia Rodriguez, a renowned linguist, was chosen to craft the message. She spent hours carefully selecting words that she hoped would convey peace and openness. Hello, we are the people of Earth. We welcome you and wish to establish peaceful communication. As the message was broadcast worldwide, pointed at every alien ship, the planet held its breath. Would the aliens respond? And if they did, what would they say? Hours passed with no reply. People began to lose hope. But just as night fell over the Atlantic Ocean, something changed. A low hum filled the air, felt more than heard. Lights flickered on the undersides of the alien ships. And then, to everyone's shock, a voice boomed out, not from speakers or any visible source, but seemingly from the air itself. People of Earth, the voice said in perfect, accentless English, we hear you. The response sent shockwaves around the world. In living rooms and government offices, people cheered and hugged each other. First contact had been made. But the initial joy quickly turned to confusion as the aliens continued their message. We have observed your planet for many of your years, the voice said. We have studied your history, your conflicts, your potential. We have come to a decision. The world listened, hearts pounding, as the alien voice paused. We do not wish to fight you. A collective sigh of relief swept across the globe. But it was short-lived, as the alien message continued. Your species possesses qualities that we find concerning. We have seen your capacity for violence, your rapid technological advancement, your ability to adapt and overcome. These traits make you unpredictable, dangerous. In the Oval Office, President Thompson leaned forward, her brow furrowed. This wasn't the friendly greeting they had hoped for. The alien voice grew colder. We have decided that direct conflict with your species would be unwise. Your potential for destruction, even against a far superior force, is too great a risk. Around the world, people looked at each other in confusion. The aliens were afraid to fight them. Humanity, with its primitive technology compared to these spacefaring beings, was seen as too dangerous to engage. In a small apartment in Mumbai, Raj Patel listened to the broadcast with growing pride. They're scared of us, he whispered to his wife. We must be stronger than we thought. The alien message concluded with a warning that sent chills down everyone's spine. We will not engage in battle with you, but know this, humans of Earth, your existence is a threat to the galaxy. We advise you to remain on your planet. Any attempt to expand beyond your world will be met with immediate action. As the voice faded away, a stunned silence fell over the Earth. The aliens had made contact, but their message was far from the friendly greeting many had hoped for. Instead, it was a mix of fearful respect and thinly veiled threat. In the days that followed, debates raged across the planet. Some saw the alien message as a challenge to overcome. Others worried about the implications of being seen as a galactic threat. One thing was clear: humanity's place in the universe had just become a lot more complicated. And the silent ships above served as a constant reminder that they were being watched, judged, and feared by forces beyond their world. Days turned into weeks, and the alien ships remained hovering silently above Earth's major cities. The initial panic had faded, replaced by a tense unease that settled over the entire planet. In New York, life tried to return to normal. Sarah Chen walked to work each morning, the giant alien ship now a familiar sight in the sky. But she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. It's like living in a fishbowl, she told her coworker, glancing nervously at the sky. They're just there, watching us. This feeling was shared by billions around the world. The aliens made no further attempts at communication after their initial message. They simply observed, their massive ships a constant reminder of humanity's new reality. Governments struggled to maintain order. In some places, religious groups claimed the aliens were gods or demons. In others, conspiracy theories spread like wildfire. Militaries remained on high alert, even though the aliens had said they wouldn't fight. Scientists worked around the clock to learn more about the visitors. In London, Dr. Emma Watson led a team studying the alien ships. Their technology is incredible, she explained to a group of government officials. The energy readings we're getting, it's like nothing we've ever seen. We could learn so much from them if they'd just talk to us. But the aliens remained silent. As weeks turned into months, a new problem arose. The alien ships were affecting Earth's weather patterns. Their massive size and strange energy fields were disrupting air currents, causing unpredictable storms and temperature changes. In Iowa, farmer John Miller watched helplessly as unusual frost killed his crops. First, these aliens say we're dangerous. Now they're messing up our weather, he grumbled to his wife. Why don't they just leave? But the aliens showed no signs of departing, and humanity's patience was wearing thin. World leaders met again at the UN, this time to discuss taking action. The debate was heated. We can't just sit here and let them disrupt our lives, shouted one ambassador. We need to force them to leave. Others urged caution. And how do you suggest we do that? Asked the Chinese representative calmly. Their technology is far beyond ours. Any attack could lead to our destruction. In the end, they decided to try communicating again. This time, the message was more direct. We request that you cease your observations and leave our planet. Your presence is causing harm to our environment and distress to our people. The world waited anxiously for a response. Hours passed, then days. The aliens remained silent. Frustration grew. In major cities, protests broke out. People demanded action from their governments. Signs reading "Earth for Humans" and "Aliens Go Home" filled the streets. Military leaders pushed for action. General Martinez argued with President Thompson in the White House. Madam President, we can't just sit here doing nothing, he insisted. Our people are scared and angry. We need to show strength. But President Thompson stood firm. And risk provoking a war we can't win. No, we wait. As tensions rose on Earth, scientists made a startling discovery. Dr. Watson's team in London detected strange energy pulses coming from the alien ships. They're scanning us, she realized with a mix of excitement and fear. Not just watching. They're actively studying everything on our planet. This news spread quickly, adding to the growing unease. What were the aliens looking for? What would they do with the information they gathered? In Tokyo, young Kenji Tanaka couldn't take the uncertainty anymore. Late one night, he snuck out of his house and made his way to the base of the alien ship hovering over his city. Standing in its massive shadow, Kenji shouted up at the silent vessel. What do you want from us? Why won't you talk to us? His voice echoed in the empty street, but the ship remained as silent and motionless as ever. As Kenji turned to go home, defeated, he didn't notice a small, almost invisible probe detach from the ship and follow him. The standoff continued, but beneath the surface, things were changing. The aliens were gathering information. Humanity's patience was running out, and the stage was being set for a confrontation that would decide the fate of Earth. As the alien presence entered its 6th month, a team of international scientists made a breakthrough. Led by Dr. Emma Watson in London, they had been analyzing the data collected from the alien ship scans. It's extraordinary, Dr. Watson explained to a room full of world leaders. The aliens aren't just studying our technology or military capabilities. They're deeply interested in our biology, our ecosystems, even our history. The revelation sparked intense discussions. Why were the aliens so fascinated by these aspects of Earth? In a secret underground facility, a group of researchers began to piece together the puzzle. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a biologist from Japan, noticed a pattern in the alien scans. They're particularly interested in our ability to adapt, she said, pointing to a series of charts. Look at how much data they've collected on our immune systems, our diverse ecosystems, even our gut bacteria. Her colleague, Dr. Ant Hassan, a historian from Egypt, added another piece to the puzzle, and they've been intensively studying our historical records. Wars, natural disasters, plagues, they're focusing on how we've overcome these challenges. As the team dug deeper, a picture began to emerge. The aliens weren't just observing, they were assessing humanity's resilience. Meanwhile, in New York, Sarah Chen noticed something odd on her way to work. The plants in the park seemed more vibrant, growing faster and stronger than usual. She wasn't the only one to notice. All around the world, reports came in of accelerated plant growth, animals showing increased intelligence, and even humans displaying enhanced healing abilities. It seemed the alien presence was somehow amplifying Earth's life forces. In Iowa, farmer John Miller watched in amazement as his crops, once damaged by strange weather, now grew back stronger than ever. "It's like the plants are fighting back," he told his astonished wife. The scientific community was buzzing with theories. Dr. Watson's team proposed that the aliens' energy fields, which had initially disrupted Earth's systems, were now harmonizing with the planet, enhancing its natural processes. This discovery led to a startling conclusion. Dr. Hassan summarized it in a report to world leaders. The aliens avoid fighting us not just because of our potential for violence, but because of our incredible capacity for survival and adaptation. We're more resilient than they expected. As this news spread, a sense of pride began to replace fear among Earth's population. Humanity, it seemed, had strengths that even advanced alien civilizations found formidable. In the White House, President Thompson read the report with growing excitement. "This changes everything," she told her advisors. "We're not just potential threats. We're potential allies." The president decided it was time for a bold move. She would address the aliens directly, armed with this new understanding of humanity's unique qualities. As cameras rolled, President Thompson stood in front of the White House, looking up at the alien ship hovering above Washington, D.C. "To our alien visitors," she began, her voice firm and clear. "We understand now why you find us intimidating. Our history is full of conflict, yes, but it's also a testament to our resilience. We adapt, we overcome, we survive against all odds. These are not just threats, they're strengths that could benefit the entire galaxy." She paused, then continued with passion. "We don't want to be seen as a danger. We want to be your allies. Our adaptability, our diverse biosphere, our tenacity. These could be valuable to you, just as your advanced knowledge could benefit us. Let's turn this standoff into a partnership." As her words were broadcast around the world and transmitted towards the alien ships, a wave of hope swept across the planet. For the first time since the aliens arrived, humanity felt truly united, standing tall and proud of their unique place in the universe. In the silent alien ships above, unseen sensors recorded every word, every cheer, every surge of determination from the humans below. The aliens had much to consider. The stage was set for a response that would change the course of human history forever. The world held its breath, waiting for the aliens' response to President Thompson's bold speech. Days passed with no reaction, the massive ships hovering silently as always. Hope began to mix with anxiety as the silence stretched on. On the fifth day, everything changed. It started with a low hum that built to a deafening roar. The alien ships began to glow, their surfaces rippling with strange, multicolored lights. People around the world stopped and stared, mouths agape at the awesome display. In New York, Sarah Chen watched from her office window, heart pounding. "This is it," she whispered to herself. "They're finally going to talk to us again." But what came next was far from the peaceful dialogue many had hoped for. The sky above every major city lit up with enormous holographic projections. The image was the same everywhere, a being that seemed to be made of pure energy, its form constantly shifting and swirling. When it spoke, its voice boomed across the planet, translated simultaneously into every human language. "People of Earth," the alien voice began, its tone cold and dismissive. "We have heard your words. We have studied your kind. And we have reached our final decision." In Iowa, John Miller and his family huddled together, listening to the broadcast on their old radio. John's hand tightened on his wife's as they waited for the alien's next words. "Your species represents a unique threat to the galactic order," the alien continued. "Your adaptability, your tenacity, your potential for both creation and destruction. These qualities make you too unpredictable, too dangerous to be allowed to spread beyond your world." In London, Dr. Emma Watson listened in disbelief. All their research, all their hopes of turning the alien's fear into respect, seemed to crumble in an instant. The alien's next words sent a chill through every human heart. "We hereby issue our final warning. Perish." A collective gasp echoed around the world. In the White House, President Thompson stood frozen, her face pale with shock. The alien continued, its voice growing colder. "You have one Earth rotation to cease all technological advancement and destroy your space exploration capabilities. Fail to comply, and we will be forced to take action to neutralize the threat you pose." As the message ended, the holographic projections vanished, leaving stunned silence in their wake. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Then, chaos erupted. In cities across the globe, panic spread like wildfire. People rushed to stores, clearing shelves of food and supplies. Others took to the streets in protest, their angry voices rising up towards the impassive alien ships. World leaders scrambled to respond. Emergency meetings were called, military forces were put on high alert, and frantic discussions began on how to handle this unprecedented threat. In the UN headquarters, heated debates broke out. Some nations argued for immediate compliance, hoping to appease the aliens. Others called for defiance, unwilling to give up humanity's progress and dreams of exploring the stars. As the hours ticked by, a sense of grim determination began to spread. In bars and living rooms, on social media, and in government offices, people started to rally around a common sentiment. Earth was humanity's home, and they would not give it up without a fight. In Tokyo, young Kenji Tanaka joined a crowd gathering in the streets. They carried signs declaring, "Earth is our home," and "We will not perish." Kenji felt a surge of pride as he added his voice to the chants. Back in the White House, President Thompson addressed the nation, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "My fellow citizens, we face the greatest challenge in human history," she said, "but we will not bow to threats. We will not abandon our progress or our principles. We are humanity, adaptable, resilient, and unbreakable. Together, we will find a way to survive and thrive." As night fell across the planet, the alien ships loomed larger than ever. But beneath them, a fire had been lit in the hearts of humans everywhere. The ultimatum had been delivered, but Earth's response was just beginning to take shape. The clock was ticking, and humanity's future hung in the balance. As dawn broke on the day of the aliens' deadline, Earth was a hive of activity. The initial panic had given way to a fierce determination that spread across the globe like wildfire. In New York, Sarah Chen joined thousands of volunteers working tirelessly to fortify the city. "We're not going down without a fight," she said, passing sandbags to her neighbors. World leaders had made a unanimous decision. Humanity would not submit to the aliens' demands. Instead, they would stand united against the threat. In a hidden facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a team of the world's brightest minds had gathered. Dr. Emma Watson from London, Dr. Yuki Tanaka from Tokyo, and experts from every field worked around the clock. "We need to use their fear against them," Dr. Watson said, her eyes bright with inspiration. "If they're afraid of our adaptability, let's show them just how quickly we can adapt." The team focused on two main strategies: defense and communication. For defense, they developed a network of energy shields based on the aliens' own technology. Dr. Tanaka had a breakthrough when she realized they could use the enhanced plant growth caused by the alien presence to power these shields. "It's poetic, really," she said, smiling. "Their own actions have given us a way to protect ourselves." Meanwhile, in Iowa, farmer John Miller and his neighbors were putting their own skills to use. They modified their farming equipment into makeshift weapons and vehicles, ready to defend their homes if needed. "We may not have fancy alien tech," John said, patting his converted tractor, "but we've got grit and ingenuity." On the communication front, linguists and psychologists worked together to craft a message that might reach the aliens. They believed that if they could make the aliens understand humanity better, they might reconsider their ultimatum. Dr. Ant Hassan, the historian, contributed key insights. "We need to show them our capacity for peace and cooperation, not just our ability to fight," he explained. As the deadline approached, President Thompson addressed the world once more. Her voice was firm and resolute as she spoke. "People of Earth, today we face our greatest challenge. The aliens demand we give up our progress, our dreams, our very essence. But we will not yield. We are human, diverse, adaptable, and unbreakable. Together, we will show the universe what humanity truly stands for." Her words resonated across the planet. In every city, town, and village, humans stood together, ready to face whatever came next. In orbit, astronauts from different countries worked together to modify the International Space Station. They turned it into a command center, ready to coordinate Earth's defenses from above. On the ground, a mix of military forces and civilian volunteers manned the newly created shield generators. The technology was untested, but it was their best hope against the aliens' advanced weapons. In Tokyo, young Kenji Tanaka helped set up a community support network. "If we're going to face this threat," he told his friends, "we need to make sure everyone is taken care of." As the final hours ticked away, a tense calm settled over the planet. The alien ships remained silent and motionless above, giving no hint of their intentions. In the White House Situation Room, President Thompson and her advisors waited anxiously. The energy shields were active, glowing domes of shimmering light over major cities and key installations. Their final message to the aliens had been sent, a passionate plea for understanding and cooperation. Now, all they could do was wait. As the deadline arrived, every eye turned to the sky. Would the aliens attack? Would they listen to humanity's appeal? Or did they have something else entirely planned? In homes and bunkers, in fields and cities, humans held their breath. They had done all they could to prepare. They had shown their resilience, their adaptability, their unity in the face of an overwhelming threat. Whatever came next, humanity was ready to face it together. The next few moments would determine the fate of Earth and the future of the human race. The whole world watched and waited for the aliens' next move. As the deadline passed, an eerie silence fell over the world. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, suddenly, the alien ships began to move. In New York, Sarah Chen watched in awe as the massive vessel above the city started to glow with an intense, pulsating light. Similar scenes unfolded in cities across the globe. "This is it," Sarah whispered, gripping the hand of the person next to her. "Whatever happens, we face it together." Without warning, beams of energy shot from the alien ships, streaking towards Earth's major cities. But as they hit the newly erected energy shields, something unexpected happened. The beams didn't penetrate. Instead, they scattered and diffused, creating a spectacular light show, but causing no damage. In the command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Emma Watson and her team cheered. "It's working," she shouted, hugging Dr. Tanaka. "Our shields are holding." The aliens, seemingly surprised by Earth's defenses, intensified their attack. The sky lit up with energy beams, each one more powerful than the last. The shields flickered and strained but held firm. In Iowa, John Miller and his neighbors watched the distant flashes of light. "Look at that," he said proudly. "Humanity's giving them a run for their money." As the alien assault continued, Earth's defenses responded. The modified International Space Station coordinated a counterattack, launching advanced missiles developed using insights gained from studying the alien technology. These missiles, powered by the same enhanced plant energy that fueled the shields, streaked towards the alien ships. To everyone's amazement, they penetrated the aliens' defenses, causing visible damage. In the White House Situation Room, President Thompson leaned forward, her eyes fixed on the tactical displays. "We're actually hurting them," she said in disbelief. "Humanity is fighting back." The battle raged for hours. The aliens, clearly not expecting such strong resistance, seemed to grow desperate. They tried new tactics, attempting to jam Earth's communications and disable the shield generators. But at every turn, they were met with humanity's incredible adaptability. When one shield went down, 3 more popped up to cover the gap. When communications were jammed in one area, people formed human chains to pass messages. In Tokyo, Kenji Tanaka and his friends worked tirelessly, helping to coordinate local defense efforts and keep people calm. "We're all in this together," Kenji reminded everyone. "That's our strength." As the conflict stretched into its second day, signs of fatigue began to show, not among the humans, but among the aliens. Their attacks grew less coordinated, less powerful. Some of their ships, damaged by Earth's counterattacks, began to drift aimlessly. Then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the attack stopped. The alien ships went silent, their lights dimming. For a tense hour, the world held its breath, unsure if this was a ceasefire or the calm before an even bigger storm. Finally, a message came through on all frequencies, in all languages. "People of Earth," the alien voice said, sounding notably less confident than before. "We underestimated you. Your unity, your adaptability, your sheer will to survive. They are unlike anything we have encountered. We offer a ceasefire. We wish to communicate." A roar of triumph and relief swept across the planet. In cities and towns, people poured into the streets, hugging strangers and celebrating their victory. In the command center, Dr. Watson turned to her team, tears in her eyes. "We did it," she said softly. "Humanity proved its worth to the galaxy." President Thompson addressed the world once more, her voice filled with pride and hope. "Today, we have shown the universe what humanity truly is. Not just fighters, but survivors. Not just adaptable, but innovative. Not just diverse, but united. This is not the end, but a new beginning. We have earned our place among the stars." As the alien ships began to retreat, a new era dawned for Earth. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious, not just through force, but through ingenuity, unity, and an unbreakable spirit. The stars, once a distant dream, now seemed within reach. And humanity, tested and proven, was ready to take its place in the cosmic community.